Are you looking for a little marketing discussion today? What's up, blue collar business owner? Welcome back to the Blue Collar Prosperity Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Maskler, where we focus on helping guide you to have a prosperous business. Today, we have with us Katie Donovan. She is the founder and CEO of Camp Digital. Trusted by over 300 home service companies, Camp Digital is one of the marketing leaders in the home service space. Along with making your phone ring, they are well known for their proprietary Capacity Pro dashboard. So, that is Katie Donovan. Welcome, Katie. Thank you so much for being here. What's going on today?
Thank you so much, Paul. I know we have been trying to do this for a while, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. I'm very excited about it.
Yes, I am excited to have you here. Really, like we talked about before the show, there's so many different things going on in the marketing world. So many people saying different things. AI is coming into the world. So we've got a lot to talk about. But before we do that, give our listeners just kind of quick backstory, how you got started with Camp Digital, and then how did it get to where it is today?
You know, my I love telling this story. Very selfishly, I love telling it. I actually worked in a marketing company in automotive space, and we had won a prize from Google. We were one of their top 5 Innovator Cups for mobile innovation in 2018. And I was sitting at this event. We were getting this award. And this guy named Julio Gonzalez, Julio, if you ever listen to this, was sitting right next to me. And Julio is a good Cuban who was head of agency for automotive at the time. And he leans over me just before the event starts and he says, "Get out of auto." And I didn't know if that meant like I was sleeping with the fishes tonight. I didn't know what that meant. So 2 hours go by. We go through the whole thing. I lean over and I go, "What do you mean get out of auto? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what I do?" And he goes, "No, no, no. The home services space is a technological desert." At the time, there was no tech in the space. He said there was no transparency. So the agencies weren't being transparent. They were a big advocate of educate partnership through education. They wasn't a lot of market share either. Like no one had a lot of clients in the space, so no one was really focused on the home services space. So I'm like, perfect. So he introduced me to the head of agency for home services, and in 2019 we launched Camp Digital.
There you go. And now you
Yeah,
got over 300 clients today.
yeah.
How has it gone compared to what Julio said it would go?
Well, it's been a wild ride, I think. Technology has, with the dawning of AI, I kind of feel like he missed the boat on the technology on the space because I've worked with a lot of different verticals in my time, a lot of different businesses, and I feel like this space has a lot of lean ins. People really lean in to learn in this space. They really want to try new things. I don't know if it's just the mentality of a contractor, like they got to make it work. There isn't a whole team of, you know, MBAs behind them. But I've loved it. It's been great. I love the people I work with. I love learning everything there is to learn about the trades that I can get my hands on. You're never done learning. There's always something new. And with AI and how people are pushing it in the space, it's been a wild ride.
It has, and it feels like it's going quicker and quicker. Like
Oh,
things are accelerating at a much faster pace. So let's get into it. So you guys are doing this every day, eating, sleeping, breathing, AI, marketing, digital, all the things. I like to get everyone's take on AI because we know what we know right now, but we have very little clue in actually what it'll look like in a couple of years, in my opinion. Where does Katie think AI is going, especially in the marketing space with Google, and everyone says, "Oh, Google AI is going to take away all the traffic to your website and all the things." What's your take on it?
I think that people don't necessarily know what AI means. So I always like to start there a little bit. I think people think, hey, if you automate something, it's AI. I think that there's like a little bit of confusion as to what AI is. My overall take is it's fundamentally changing. I was sitting at an event with Google, and they were showing the hockey stick of acceptance of different technologies in the past, right? So they're showing like I think it was radio when it came in. It was a nice even increase of like how people adopted it in their homes and people started using radio. And then they showed TV and it was a little steeper. Then they showed the cell phone, the mobile phone, whatever you want to call it, and it was like whoa. And then they showed AI, and the line was almost straight up. I mean, think about 5 years ago. If someone said AI, you'd be like, what? Now we're getting in cars without drivers to drive us around. That's all AI, right? That's 100% Waymo or whatever it's. And if you haven't done it, by the way, I highly recommend it. It's just a hoot. I think they said it's one of the most selfied moments because every time someone gets in a Waymo, one of the first things they do is take a picture of them with no driver in the front. But so to answer your question, I think it's revolutionary. I think we haven't even scratched the surface of how we can use it, but I really hope people think beyond just automations, right? Like if I send you an email and you're out of office, you send me back a responder saying, "Hey, I'm out of office. I'll be back in a week." That's just like an automation. AI is how it learns, oh, this is spam, this isn't, even if you've never sent me something before, right? So there's a difference there. And I think it's just going to be crazy where we're going with that.
I think it is. And obviously we're in the trades every day, but it feels like it's a whole nother like ball game, to be honest, because a couple years ago it was like, oh, people are using, obviously all their CRMs and those have been dialed in, and then we got some, like you said, automations built in. But like, to combine plumbing with artificial intelligence and running businesses is like, it almost feels like it just went from like 0 to 60 super fast. And the analogy that you learned at Google, I think is 100% true, because when you compare it to those other things, even the cell phone, like
Yep.
when the iPhone came out, it was like, oh, BlackBerry's still going to beat the iPhone. And like, there's all these, like, and when the internet came out, I remember being a kid, and like, we got our first computer, and it was like, my parents were like, oh, we don't need a computer and all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, everyone's connected. But even then, that was a lot slower than AI. So that's an interesting part of the conversation. So how does that tie into marketing? How are you guys using it, at least today and going into the future, to help educate and serve your clients to get them the best results possible?
I think that's an exhaustive question. I will tell you, for us, it's impacted every part of our business, from how we update and write content in almost real time at this point. How someone asked me the other day, they said, I want to see all the, we use what's called responsive search ads. I want to see all the versions of the ad that you can create. And there's 64,000. It doesn't mean that we're using all 64,000. It just creates all the different, AI and Google can create all the different combinations, and then it tries to serve up the combination it thinks is most relevant. The stat, I'm sure everyone's heard, if you have anything to do with marketing. If you haven't, it's a wild stat. 15% of all the searches that happen on Google, on Microsoft, on Meta, on YouTube, because that's a search engine, 15% of all those searches are new every single day. They haven't been seen before. 15%, which may not sound like a big number when you think about the volume of searches. That's wild to think about. So AI has helped agencies like us enable for those 15%, right? If someone types in plumber near me, we know what we can serve them, right? If they type in uh, slab leak inspection, we know what to serve them. But if they type in slab leak inspection for my house in Venice Beach for, Saturday service, it's a probably pretty basic one too, but something wild we'd never heard of before, you have to have that AI to be able to serve up the best result for them. And I will give a shameless plug if I can, Paul, because
Fire away.
you not to camp, to contractors. Everybody's talking about AI like it's some kind of secret sauce, or you have to have a degree in AI. Everyone's talking about prompt engineering and all these terms. I will tell you right now, I'm a huge advocate. Just go to gemini.google.com, go to ChatGPT, just type in a prompt. Just type something in. A prompt is just a query. Just type something in. You can even type in, how do I write the best prompt, right? And just do something so that you don't feel like you're getting left behind. I think I'm seeing this delta of people getting really intimidated. And a lot of people like me talking and using big words about AI and responsive search ads and all these things. No one's going to get left behind. Just jump online, go to gemini.google.com, go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to any of them, and just type in one simple prompt. Take an email you want to write and say, rewrite this email more professionally in a way that I can include it that's shorter, right? Or some kind of rules. It will blow your mind how quick and easy it is to use once you just get past that first hurdle.
Yeah, and I think and then the more you use it, obviously, the more it learns about you. So then it gets better and better. I think,
Yep.
obviously, that's why a lot of companies are leveraging AI and love AI, because we can teach it something and it never forgets it, and it just continues to get better. So,
Yeah. Or for contractors, I hear, and I don't mean to steal this conversation, but I'm passionate about this because I feel like I don't want anyone to feel like they got left behind. And how do I use it? A really easy one is use it to write the next 6 weeks of Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts to help promote your business. Just go to it and say, here's my URL. Can you write me 6 weeks of posts I'm going to put on Facebook to help promote my plumbing business. And you will be floored at what it spits out. You'll be able to do a whole 6-week session of Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts or whatever tools you want to use, social media posts that you want to use. Tell it which one though, because it knows the limitations. And you'll be amazed. In like 5 minutes, you can get a whole 6-week plan.
Yeah, and it's so, I mean, for this podcast, I do a solo show once a month, and now I go to my ChatGPT to get the ideas because it knows everything about me. It knows our business. It knows our ideal customer. And I say, and I feed it all the other stuff. Here's our podcast. Here's our YouTube, all that. And then it's give me the best 10 next topics I should talk about.
Yes.
And it does it.
Yeah, and the more you can give it, to your point, the more you can give it, the better. So if you say, I'm a plumber, I'm sitting here in Edina, Minnesota. I'm a plumber in Edina, Minnesota. My ideal customer is a homeowner over the age of 50 with some discretionary spending, right? Don't we all wish? But with some discretionary spending, write me some social media posts that I can do that's going to help me promote my drain clearing program, right? Or I'm a roofer. I'm in Chaska, Minnesota. Write me some posts that help promote my 24-hour, 7-day-a-week leak line. It's amazing what it will do and how quickly it will do it, and for $0.00.
There you go. So let's transition from AI because I think that's
sorry, I can do it all day.
No, that's a perfect conversation because I think, like you said, a lot of people are intimidated by it, and just like anything, we just got to get started. Once we get started, we learn, we get better. We learn, we get better, and we can use, like, to me, what I've learned, and I think what you've just reiterated is, we need to start thinking of how can AI help me do whatever it is. And then we can go to AI and start going that route versus trying to rack our brain on something or go to Google and go down a rabbit hole. So you guys are obviously big in making the phone ring, but you're also big on like the fundamentals, right? And I feel a lot of times home service business owners especially think there's a magic bullet out there. If I just hire this company, I can give them however much money and they're going to 10x it, and I can give them more and they're going to 10x it. But as you and I know, there is no magic bullet. We got to do a lot of things consistently and do them well and build the brand, because if someone sees your ad today and they don't need a plumber, well, they're not going to call you because they don't need a plumber. But when they do need a plumber, we want them to remember us. So what are some of the fundamental marketing, branding strategies that you see many home service businesses missing that are like slam dunks if they just start doing these things regularly?
I love that question, and I appreciate that question because I love, you can probably tell by the way I talk about AI, the stuff we can do for ourselves. You don't need agencies for. And one of the most powerful tools everybody has at their fingertips is Google My Business. And I think a lot of people miss just making sure they maintain, they optimize, and protect their Google My Business profile. And I say protect because your competitors can make suggestions about your Google My Business profile, like change your hours. And if you're not watching it, suddenly your hours change. So your GMB, Google Business Profile, to me, and for anyone who doesn't know, you can just type in your business name. Likely what will happen is the whole one side of the page will have a panel that has a picture of your business, your location, hours, things like that. That's your Google Business Profile. That is probably one of the number one spots, whether you are a single guy in a truck or you have a $100 million shop. Your Google Business Profile is one of the, it's like jet fuel for your business. So I think that's one of the fundamentals. The second thing I'd always tell everyone is if you do have a website, which in this day and age, even the single truck owner should have a website, check it out yourself and check it out from your phone. I think a lot of people don't look at their own websites. I was working with a contractor out in California. I won't say his name. He called me, he said, Katie, my SEM company, my paid search company, they suck. You know, all the things we hear, to your point exactly. And I said, well, let me see your site. And I said, hey, you know what? Your paid search company might not suck. You have no phone number on your website. So they might be bringing you all kinds of traffic and no one knows how to get a hold of you, right? So just check out your website yourself. If you have, this is one of my favorite things to do. If you have a teenager, I have 2 teenagers. I tell them to look at the stuff all the time. They are ruthless. But sometimes it's great because we get to hear what we need to hear. Like tell them, hey, check these sites out. What do you think? So Google Business Profile, your website, and then I think that the trifecta to that is your local service ads. I'm a local service ads junkie, and I think it's a great tool for any business.
There you guys go. Work on those 3 things. Your Google Business Profile, update it regularly, put pictures on there, make sure you're getting reviews, all the things to keep Google happy. make sure your website is actually optimized. And then LSAs. LSAs, people love them, people hate them, they're unpredictable, all the things. But in my experience, owning a home service business as well in the past, when you get an LSA call, it is a very good quality lead. So those are some really three things anybody listening to this can take with you and go make sure it is optimized. Now, let's kind of go down the journey. Now we've got the lead. In my opinion, this is where many business owners drop the ball because once they get a lead, they want to go get another lead instead of having an amazing customer journey and retargeting campaign and keep these people happy and referring and doing all those things. So, how do you, as a marketing agency, kind of navigate? Hey, we got you the phone ring, but now if you don't do this part of the job, it doesn't really matter how many times we make the phone ring. How do you integrate all that to a really good customer journey?
Uh, Phenomenal question. I appreciate it. I will tell you two things. One, I learned the hard way from a man named Bill Kerrigan. Bill owns Three Mountains Plumbing in Portland, Oregon. And Bill was getting tons of leads. He had one of the best local service ads accounts that we managed. Hundreds of leads. I mean, it was wild. And he called me one day and he said, turn it down. And after I pulled myself off the ground saying, this is the opposite of everything, he said, I want my team to know that every lead is important and to stop just knowing there's more leads behind it. Chad Peterman at Peterman during his shop tour will tell you this too. They tell their CSRs how much a lead costs. They say, hey, listen, we're at $120 a lead right now. So that they treat every single call like that $120, like handing them a $100 bill. So I love that was kind of a good lesson for me to then answer your question, which is you got to treat every one of those leads like it's important. From your CSRs, I think we're all in this huge rush to try and automate our phone systems, which is great. I think there's a great opportunity for AI answering systems, but that shouldn't be the only option. If I am going to put in a $24,000 furnace into my home in January in Minnesota because my current one's failing, I'm probably paranoid enough where I want to talk to a person. Like, let me have that option. Treat it like the gold that lead really is. For camp, what we've done is we actually track all of the steps in the way. So what we do at camp is we'll say, hey, listen, we brought you X amount of calls. This many of those calls were real leads, right? Because there's always going to be calls that aren't leads. Of that, you were able to book this many. Of that, you were able to run this many. So you had this much cancellation. Of that, this many ran for revenue. And then here was a return on ad spend. So we're able to track each one of those kind of drop-off points in the journey and then help report that back to our customers so they can see that information as well as use that to feed Google and Meta and Microsoft all the data they need to help optimize for different stages throughout that journey as well.
Yeah, and I think when you can, obviously, me being a numbers person and helping our business owners with the numbers, it's amazing what can happen on cost per lead goes down by a lot if we get a little bit better at booking the call, if we have less
Yes.
cancellations, if our guys are better out in the field, if they offer more options. Like, it's amazing when you just improve all those things a little bit, the amount of revenue that you bring in and the return on ad spend goes up significantly.
I
So,
I I had a client call me. You'll, as a numbers guy, this will probably curl your hair. He called me, goes, I need to spend more on drains. I need to spend more on drains. I said, listen, if you want to spend more, we'll spend more, but you don't need to spend more. You have a 45% cancellation rate on drains. Without spending another penny, go solve that problem. And you'll return. I mean, you don't have to keep feeding the beast, right? Like, go solve that problem. Now, he did call me back and said, hey, let's spend more. And we did, right? I mean, ultimately the customer, but we wanted to make sure we told him your issue isn't leads. Your issue is the process. So it's been really helpful to have that data point.
yeah, and I think that's great because not all, I like to stick up for marketing agencies as much as I can because I love the numbers and we track all the numbers. I'm also here to tell you that not every marketing agency will track all those numbers. So if they aren't doing it for you and you're listening to this, please do it for yourself so you can really see the impact that might not actually be your marketing agency that's the issue. It might be your call center. It might be your service techs. It might be your capacity. You don't have enough people to serve these people, so they're booking and then they're canceling, and now you're just throwing money out the drain. So let's solve those problems before we get more people and put them in the funnel if the funnel's got a bunch of holes in it anyway.
Exactly.
So I was on your website. I'm curious about this. I just mentioned the word capacity. And what is this Capacity Pro dashboard that
I,
y'all speak of that's proprietary? Give me the rundown on what makes this thing special.
I should have actually probably started with this. CAMP actually is an acronym. Besides the fact that we're very campy and we tell dumb jokes, and I always tell everyone I identify as a 13-year-old boy with my humor, but CAMP actually stands for Capacity Aligned Marketing Platform. When we entered this space, or when I started working in home services forever ago, I said, what really matters, right? I can't just go make more shoes. I can't just go make more pencils. And if I'm getting a lot of sales for pencils, it's all about capacity. Am I booked or am I not booked? So we tie into your field management system. We work with most of them. We pull the data out automatically. We say, hey, look, he's totally booked in electrical, but they need a lot of jobs in HVAC. Can we move some of the funds from electrical to HVAC? Or if we can't, let's at least pull back on electrical and save that for the rainy day fund. Let's spend what we can. We can change the location, the target area. So you might be 80% booked in plumbing or in drains, but you're 80% booked, which means you can't go 2 hours to the end of town to get that next job. Even though you need another job, it's got to be within a 1 hour radius, right? So we can change where the capacity is. So everything that we or where we advertise, everything we do is tied to that capacity, and all of the rules change automatically. I was just showing somebody, excuse me, one of our accounts that we have. In the last 30 days, we've done over 10,000 adjustments to their ads account, plus what we've done for Bing and Facebook and everything else. And they said, how did you do that? I said, well, our system does it. Our system looks at by trade, where are they with IAQ? Where are they with their heating? Where are they with cooling? Where are they with plumbing? And it adjusts everything based on the capacity, where we're targeting, what offers we're targeting. If you have 50% capacity, add a same day guarantee. Hey, we'll show up same day. That has a conversion rate increase that's out of this world, especially for like drains, right? If I see, hey, 2 hour arrival guarantee because I've got capacity for drains and I can put that on there, your conversion rate goes up over 80%. Not you have 80% conversions, it increases 80%.
Right.
So I wish. I got to be really clear about that. Someone call me on that. But it's amazing what some of those little things can do. But don't offer a 2 hour arrival guarantee. And that's why I called you if I can't honor it. Because when I call and say, hey, I saw a 2 hour arrival guarantee, I want you here today. And you say you can't, you've already set that relationship off on a bad start, right? I'm not going to trust you. It degrades the relationship. So our system is all built around the capacity in the business, automatically pulls it from their field management system, and then makes all kinds of macro and micro adjustments to their marketing.
That's amazing. I love it. So obviously with that, a big part of your strategy is the paid ads. What is your take on where do we spend our time, energy, efforts, money, resources between organic, between social, between SEO, now making sure AI is happy. We also have got paid traffic. We got LSAs. Obviously, every business is different. Every business's goals are different. Their markets are different. But in the grand scheme of things, what is your kind of take, philosophy, values on that aspect?
Good organic drives down the cost of paid. That's not a secret. Google's been pretty articulate about that. Google has come out directly and said, hey, the fundamental guidance has not changed as we've gone to AI. Write people first content. So don't try and write for AIs, write for people. Google's been very clear about that in all of their documentation. I am a huge advocate of good organic is better for paid, and good paid helps organic. So they should work together in tandem. I do explain it to people like paid is like taking my semaglutide shot, my little GLP-1, right? And all of a sudden I'm going to get skinny. But organic's like going to the gym. They definitely work really, really well together. One's going to be a lot faster, but not have long-term as much. Second I stop doing paid, I lose that. Second I stop taking those shots, I lose that. I used to talk about going to the gym versus diet and exercise, but I don't have to do that anymore because semaglutides are out there now. But no, so but I'm a huge advocate that really your business needs both. They just have very different, and they help each other. One's a longer term investment that stays with you, and one's, kind of short term fix.
Yeah, that's a great thought process, great analogy, because I feel a lot of times we don't want to do the long-term thing, whatever it is, right? Like, I don't want to start writing blog posts, or I don't want to start creating content. It's going to take too long. And then we look back like, man, I should have started that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because now I'd be 2 years ahead of where I am now. But when they can complement each other, it makes it a lot easier. Are you, that brought up when you're saying write content for people, I'm a big Marcus Sheridan fan. And They Ask You Answer, and then his new book, Endless Customers. Do you have any take on if you're a fan of his, or just like what type of content do we need to be putting out that Google likes are people like social likes. I know now Google is indexing and pulling from Facebook and Instagram and all that. So what's your take on that?
I was just this is the second time I've heard this woman speak. She is a genius. Her name's Julie. She is the vice president of engineers at Google, and she sits over their AI overviews and AI mode. And she said, listen, search is three things. One, it's people first. Second, it's multimodal. So if you want to be thinking about how to jumpstart, and multimodal is a big word, but one of those words I think that intimidates a lot of people. But really what she's saying is Google, ChatGPT, Microsoft, all of them, they can read images as well as they can read words. In a year from now, if you do not have images on your site that are your images, not stock images, your images of your people, if you're not putting it on your social media, if you're not putting it on your Google business profile, you're not putting it on your website, it'll be like not having keywords on a website. It is literally holding it in tandem. You can test this out yourself, but just go to Google and type in restaurants that serve vegetarian dishes. And what'll come up won't necessarily be restaurants that say vegetarian, but there are restaurants that have vegetarian dishes images in their content. It's wild what they can do now. And who has more images than home services? If you're on Service Titan or Sarah or Workies, you have thousands of pictures from almost every job. You don't even have to look to find it. Just got to get it out there. And we have an ability, I think, to really leapfrog a lot of people. Not only that, but it can read what's in the images. So if you are a Daikin shop or a Train shop or a Carrier shop, and the pictures you're putting up have, Mr. Slim mini splits on them, and someone types in, you don't have to even put that keyword on your site. Someone says, I need someone who works on Mr. Slim mini splits or Mitsubishi or whatever, and you have those images, it knows that's a Daikin unit, you're more likely to rank. And we have all the content already. So to answer your question about content, that's heavily where we're focused and where I tell a lot of people focus on. It's that multimodal content.
That is wild. That is something I didn't even know existed. So I got smarter today in this conversation, and I appreciate that because that is, like you said, it is wild. It is mind blowing.
You can test it, Paul. Go to your phone and type in, when you type in pictures of my son's name, Mikey, I'll say Mikey, and it pulls me all these pictures of Mikey, or I'll type in dog and it pulls me all the pictures of my dog. It's indexing that not because I told it was a dog. It knows it's a dog.
Right.
That's what's happening on search as well.
That's crazy. So as we begin to wrap this up, Katie, I like to ask all the marketing people that come on to this show, what did we miss? What are things that I didn't ask about that our listeners need to know about where this marketing, AI, content, where's this world going in 2026?
I think there's a couple of things that have been shared with us. I'll share with you and your listeners. That is 40% of all engagements by the end of the year, forward facing, want to include video or images. So get on those video and images. And I think don't get intimidated by the AI thing. I think, again, you're probably going to have to not use this, but I call it PFM. Do you know what PFM is?
No.
A lot of us marketers love PFM. We tell you everything's PFM, and that's just pure fucking magic. It's not, right? You can get on there, you can learn it, you can do it. Just start, and don't feel like you've got to create a whole algorithm out of this AI. Rewrite an email. Ask it to do a social media post. Ask it, say, hey, I love Paul's podcast so much. Give me 3 more podcasts like it I should listen to. You'll be amazed at what it pulls up. So I think just getting out there and getting started. And then I think making sure that you're looking at all your KPIs, right? To your point, it's there's not one thing that should drive your decision-making in what's coming. And I think the last one, I said this for last, but this is the last one. This next 6 months, we're going to rewrite the entire playbook on marketing. The last 6 months have rewritten it. The next 6 months are rewritten it. So I think find somebody who's not frightened to try new things. Take a small percentage of your budget, even if your budget's little, small percentage, and say, I want to try something new every quarter and try something new.
Love it. That is amazing. Katie Donovan, thanks again for coming to the show, sharing your journey and providing a ton of actionable advice, tactical stuff, marketing stuff, all the things that our blue collar business owners out there need as we continue on this journey to prosperity in this ever-changing world. But Katie, before we sign off, where can listeners go to keep in touch with you, reach out to Camp Digital? What's the best place to go?
If you go to campdigital.com, and then we talked earlier on, if you listen to the first part about the fundamentals, we do have a little cheat sheet we'll give anybody who wants it, saying here's the 5 things you can do for your Google business profile, 5 things for your website, 5 things for LSA to help optimize. If you want that, go to campdigital.com, just shoot a note in, say, hey, I'm looking for the fundamentals, or that we call them the high fives. High five, we'll get that over to you. Or if you want to contact campdigital.com.
There you go. Katie, thanks again for coming to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you.
And before you head out, if you are ready to have a business that produces consistent positive cash flow so that you can have a financially healthy business and achieve your personal goals, let's make it happen. Head on over to thebluecollaradvisors.com/call to book a free financial assessment of your business. I will dive into the financials of your business, take a look at what's going on, find any red flags as well as opportunities that you have in your business. Let's make it happen. Again, thebluecollaradvisors.com/call. Until next time, remember, what got you here won't get you there. If you're ready for different results, it's time to start doing things differently.